Just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
And then again, man, how insensitive are you, Chuck? Like, you have no heart. You on TV. These people, this family just heard the news that they ain't getting justice for their daughter getting murdered. And you gonna say on TV that you don't put her in the same category? Like, think about what you said, bruh. Think about what you're saying. A lot of people that's on TV that's black ain't speaking for us. And that's what you doing. Nowhere in hell people want to expect you to be so educated and look up to you so much, and you go on TV and say that to out of all days today. This family just got this news. And you gonna go on a basketball show where all the players been talking about is justice for Breonna and say she's not in the same category with Georgia. Man, y'all crazy, dog. Y'all crazy.
As the NBA gets more and more entangled in civil issues, I find myself making more and more content that I never thought a year ago that I would be making. But since this is a NBA news channel, well, I try not to steer away from something just because it's controversial. As a matter of fact, this channel prides itself on its ability to successfully navigate through controversial issues, and I'm extremely proud that we've been able to leverage the remarkable audience that you guys have been able to build for this channel into doing a lot of good for the world. So I'm not going to back down from this. I understand it's controversial, and I'm going to do my absolute best to navigate this topic. So before we get to the content, bear in mind that I am giving away a PlayStation 5 on my Twitter account. A link to that is in the description down below. Once we're done with that giveaway, I'm actually going to be giving away an Xbox Series X as sort of a thank you for giving me quite possibly one of my most successful months in my entire YouTube career. I just really want to give back to you guys. On top of that, if you could do me a huge favor and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm to help this channel to continue to grow, subscribe and turn on our notifications, that would be a phenomenal help to this channel, because once I get to about 700,000 or 800,000 subscribers, I can pretty much tell the NBA that this channel is an asset to them, and they'll probably not claim my NBA content in the future, which they have done in the past. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, I'm going to do my absolute best to steer away from this in terms of my own personal opinion, unless if I think there's a situation where it makes sense to give you my personal opinion, because I understand how annoying it is for news sources to, well, consistently give you their personal opinion and try to manipulate their viewers into thinking one way or another. I'm sure you guys are grown people and you could come up to your own conclusions by yourselves. So let's get straight to it. Last night on Inside the NBA, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal went into a fairly controversial topic, and I honestly don't blame them for doing so. The entire NBA has been really involved in these matters recently. A lot of people are saying that a huge reason why their ratings are slipping is because they're getting into more political content, and whether it's political or not is up to your own interpretation. Some people say it is, some people say it's necessary. That's up for your own debate and your own interpretation. But last night, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were brought into a situation where they commented on the Breonna Taylor case. To be honest, I actually agree with 50% of what Charles Barkley said, not in regards to Breonna Taylor, but in regards to the police. Listen to what he said with the police.
To really be careful when we, I hear these fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't gonna defund the cops? white neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just gonna leave, who are black people supposed to call Ghostbusters when we have crime in our neighborhoods? We need police reform. But like I say, white people, especially rich white people, they're always gonna have cops. So we need to stop that defund or abolish the cops crap.
And we started this.
So you see, Charles Barkley makes an interesting point, and the only thing I see in line, and bear in mind, I'm not a political person, I mainly focus on sports, and I'm privileged to do so. The one thing I agree with him on about this is defunding the police wouldn't do anything. As a matter of fact, I think you need to figure out a better selection process for who becomes an officer, because I feel like the position of a police officer attracts a specific archetype of a human being, and that's why you're getting all of this stuff in the news lately. That's why you're hearing of all these cases of police brutality, because the selection process isn't good enough. It seems like it's way too easy to become a cop, and the people that were bullies in high school or have some sort of power complexes or are control freaks seem to be the ones that end up becoming cops, the ones that are truly unhealthy in the mind. So I don't think defunding the police is going to stop that. I feel like if anything, it's going to make it worse. And that's my opinion. That's the only thing I'm willing to comment on, because that's actually the main thing that I agree with Charles Barkley on. I feel like defunding the police is probably the most redundant thing you can do, because I think it's going to make things even worse. If you see that a specific department of your company is doing really poorly, say if I'm making YouTube videos and the people that make my graphics barely make any money, I pay them like $1 a thumbnail, and this is all hypothetical because I make my own thumbnails, but say I pay them like $1 a thumbnail, the result of that is my thumbnails are garbage. My reaction isn't going to be to defund my graphic department. My reaction would probably be to go scour the internet for a significantly better thumbnail designer and pay them top dollar so I could get better, more clickable thumbnails. So that's the logic I have in when Charles Barkley says that. Now, the second part, I'm going to let you guys interpret for yourself, because this second part is kind of crazy. He goes on to comment on the Breonna Taylor case here.
Just bad the young lady lost her life. But we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that.
Now, the reason I'm not willing to comment on this is it's really difficult to take a side. Well, I really am confused about what the story is, and it seems like the narrative consistently gets twisted and changed, so for that reason, I can't give my opinion on it. I really can't. So I could only provide you guys with the facts and allow you to come up with a conclusion yourself, and I could also tell you what all of society thinks of what Charles Barkley's comments are, because so when Charles Barkley said what he said, let's just say a lot of people weren't gigantic fans of what he said, and people are also hating on Shaq, but I do have Shaq's response. And Shaq's response is, I have to agree with Charles, this one is sort of lumped in. You have to get a warrant signed, and some states do allow no-knock warrants, and everyone was asking for murder charges. When you talk about murder, you have to show intent. A homicide occurred, and we're sorry a homicide occurred. When you have a warrant signed by the judge, you are doing your job, and I would imagine that you would fire back. And it appears that most of society isn't upset with Charles Barkley for what he said in terms of quote-unquote defunding the police. Rather, they're more upset with what Charles Barkley said in regards to the Breonna Taylor case and the Breonna Taylor decision. So, what do you guys think of what Charles Barkley said? Do you agree with him? Do you not agree with him? And let's try to keep your comments civil and have an open discussion about this in the comment section down below. I hope I did you guys justice by covering this topic, because I don't think you understand how difficult it is to talk about these topics on an NBA news channel, but I'm going to always do my absolute best. And I'm never going to steer away from controversial topics like this, because it's important to our society to have an open discussion about these things. Aside from that, I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.